Captain's Log Supplemental. When I was offered command of the USS Ballard, I was thrilled. A promotion to a newly commissioned Rhode Island-class long-range science vessel, the opportunity to choose my own department heads and mission specialists from both Starfleet and other Federation research organizations, and one of the largest dedicated cetacean ops that any mobile science vessel has hosted. I was looking forward to interacting with my new aquatic crew persons. I've always found their various languages so beautiful, and they are often cited as some of the best navigators in Starfleet. That was until I realized, in my excitement, I had misread the department title. The Ballard hosts the largest crustacean ops in Starfleet. I just came back after our first staff meeting. One of my new officers was in the midst of their molting cycle, and I saw, heard, and smelled things I was entirely unprepared for. I'm gonna need to disable the replicator's restrictions on synthahol.
Welcome back to Captain's Log Supplemental. As always, I am joined by friends and co-host, myself being Chris, and friends and co-host Stanford.
Mark!
This is going to be so professional.
I was holding on to that. I was like, this is going to be funny because it's going to sound like I fucked up. But then you managed to fuck up your own name, like in the middle of it.
It's like, I gotta say, Chris, you've gotten way worse at this as the season has gone on.
There was like this learning curve where you got like good at it, and then you got cocky, and now you're terrible again.
And I thought you wrote it down. Like, can't you read a script, man?
I don't read.
He was elected to lead, not to read. And Rob's here too.
Hi. I mean, Mark.
No, your name is Rob. I got that one. It's fine. All right. Well,
fine. I'll introduce myself and the producer Mariah. Hi there.
I'm sorry. One second, Mariah. Can you take the microphone out of your fucking mouth?
Sorry. When I get offended, I get really close to the microphone.
Look, I have no concept of where we are in the show, and you're all just going to have to deal with it. Shut the fuck up. Hey, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I was getting there, God damn it.
Were you?
We're a Star Trek, yes, definitely, probably. We're a Star Trek rewatch podcast, cruising through in chronological order of all these Star Trek shows. We're
just cruising.
We were cruising. We're through the first one we've ever done.
Yeah, we're a little punch drunk because this is like, you know how like at the end of Survivor, like they have that like reunion where everyone's all giddy and shit. Like that's us.
Oh shit! I have champagne in the fridge. Why am I peeking so much?
Because you're eating the mic.
Screaming right now. Pull the mic away from your fucking mouth. Are you recording through your headset microphone? Because it did not change the volume at all.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm recording through, and I can't. It won't let me.
You probably have to stop it to do that. So stop it, save it, and start a new one.
Okay, hang on.
Don't forget to flip it and reverse it. Oh, man. Well, I'll just go ahead and put it now. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, do all those things. Because we are clearly a very good podcast that deserves your attention. So yeah, final show on Enterprise. That's pretty nice.
All right, so we're gonna be a little fast and loose today because we don't have an actual episode to get through. We're gonna be talking about Enterprise, but we're gonna get to that in a minute because I've got several. So it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded because Chris was on vacation, and I have so many questions about how your vacation was, but I also don't care. So shut the fuck up.
Oh man, It was great, by the way. So I went to the Smoky Mountains. It was great. Did some hiking.
Did the country roads take you home?
Sort of. It's very hilly. Did a little bit of zip lining while I was there.
Fuck!
Oh.
So I said trigger warning.
Okay,
But, no, it was good.
okay. Stand by. If you're gonna give someone a trigger or content warning, you have to tell them kind of what it's vaguely about before you just say it. It's not like
No, this is way
content
funnier.
warning. So, anyways, I stabbed myself in the fucking like. What the fuck?
Chris, we're pretty sure you were there at the same time my sister Emily was there with her family.
Where were they at?
They went to
Gatlinburg.
Gatlinburg. Thank
Oh,
you.
really? Yeah, there's this place called Anarchista there. It's kind of like a little, amusement park isn't necessarily the right term, but that's the closest thing to it. And they've got some rides and zip lines, and they have this cool sort of thing they do. Well, it was a good time. Good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember earlier, Chris, when I was telling you that like we had been to Nashville and Memphis.
Yeah.
Emily was the reason we were in Nashville.
Ah, gotcha.
Oh, yeah, we were.
Mhm.
We did not have a vacation. However, a couple weekends ago, friend of the pod, John, one of his kids was over here because I guess one of his kids had like a birthday party he was going to. So I was like, "Yeah, bring Sam over. Like, well, he and Liam can hang out, and we're eating sushi, right?" And like, their plan, okay, because we're gonna have lunch, and then their plan's like, we want to watch a movie after lunch. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm the cool adult. What do y'all want to watch?
You got them sushi too, so that made you cool.
Hell yeah. So they're trying to decide on what to watch, and because Sam is John's child, Sam's communicates about movies the same way John does, right? Which is basically like, have you seen X? No, I don't know how you haven't seen X. Like, all right. And Sam gets it honestly from both of his parents. But anyways, so Sam's like, have you seen Hamlet? And Liam's like, no. And Sam's like, how have you not seen Hamlet? Which is that's an odd conversation for 11-year-olds to be having, frankly.
Sure.
And I'm not sure if he means like the old ass German, like black and white Hamlet, or like the Mel Gibson 90s Hamlet. I don't even know what Hamlet he's talking about. But anyways, Sam's like, oh, it's pretty cool. There's a little bit of light murder in it. It's like
Light murder.
Okay. And Liam's like, oh. And Sam goes, yeah. So Hamlet kills his uncle because his uncle killed his dad. And Liam's like, that makes sense. If my uncle killed my dad, I'd want to do that. And I was like,
look out, Rob.
I was, well, hold on.
Hold on.
I was like, oh, so if Rob killed me, you would kill Uncle Rob? And Liam goes, oh no, Uncle Rob probably had a good reason.
I don't know who that says more about, Rob or you.
Disclaimer:
Oh my god.
Liam adores his
Uncle Rob. Uncle Rob is his favorite person. It has been since he was like an infant.
Oh god. I love that kid.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Oh man. So, but you have not heard the latest. So that was what we did last weekend. But like yesterday, we were at this reptile convention, Chris.
Oh god, I can smell it already.
Actually, not too bad because we were there in the morning before it got like real bad.
Right.
And
For those that don't know, a reptile convention smells of two things: one, reptile shit, and two, weed. That is all of it.
Oh
smells
no,
like.
this one doesn't smell like
No,
weed. It smells like
no weed
tobacco.
Yeah.
It's cigarettes and lizards. Yeah. So we're at this reptile convention. And basically, like, we're not getting anything, but Liam wants to hold shit, so he's treating it like a petting zoo. It's like fucking snakes. He's holding snakes mostly. But at one point, this guy's got this gecko. Now this gecko is like the size of a rat. Like, it's a big gecko. And Liam's like, oh, like goes up to the table. The guy's like, "Hey, kid, what's up?" He's got Tupperwares filled with reptiles because that's how reptile people are. And then he's like, "You want to hold Joe here, or whatever the fuck the name of the gecko was?" And Liam's like, "Yeah." So he's like, "All right, just hold your hand out flat." Now Liam is not great at following physical directions. It is like he has trouble body movement mapping things that he is told to do. So he's doing his best. Like, he's trying to get his hands in the way he's supposed to. The gecko wants to get on Liam's hand. Apparently this gecko is very friendly, okay? But the gecko sees that Liam is having trouble. So his idea is, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go and I'll just see what happens when I get there. And this gecko launches himself at Liam, which none of us knew the gecko could do. So the gecko leaps at Liam. Liam goes, ah, and throws the gecko over his shoulder onto the floor. The gecko, very surprised to be on the floor, is trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And the dude's like, yeah, they do that sometimes. It's like, bitch, you didn't want to warn anybody? I was expecting a lot more laughter out of Chris there, so I don't know if he died. I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm communicating with my brother on the cold open at the moment.
I was talking to you, Chris. I feel very ignored right now.
Sorry. I wanted to make sure he could actually get it done tonight, which he can. So FYI.
Wow.
Great, but did you hear my hilarious gecko story? Like, it was so fucking funny.
It was very funny. I was laughing in my brain.
God damn it. You know what? So it was warm as shit yesterday. It was like 80 some odd. Which reminded me that it is Rita's season. So
yeah,
for those of you who are unaware, here in Pennsylvania, there's this place called Rita's. It is Italian
Matthew,
water
and
ice.
It's on Broad Street, by the way, Matthew.
Which
the
one?
intersection of Broad and Welsh Road. You turn right down Broad. There's a Rita's there.
Oh, is that the one we get from? There's this stuff called water ice, Italian water ice. Now I know, dear listener, I understand that sounds redundant, but that's the way these Philadelphians roll. Okay, it is water ice, but it's like it's kind of like gelato, like it's like an icy, like
a sorbet. Almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like a snow cone and a sorbet had a baby.
So it's like if you took water and ice and flavored it. You know,
we called it slushies.
But like slushies are more like a snow cone. Like they're like a crushed ice.
No, a slush puppy. No, you could drink that.
I would say they're firmer than a slushie.
A slush puppy is different than a slushie. Those are two different brands, my friend.
We had a slush puppy machine in our middle school.
Like I'm the only person on this call that has been born here. Yeah, I am. Was born in the region, and y'all are offending me.
Chris, where were you born?
Would you like to guess?
New Jersey.
I know this.
I lived there, but not where I was born.
No, that's where Rob was born, which is why he doesn't even count. I don't think they have Ritas in New Jersey, because New Jersey is where there's nothing good. There's nothing good in New Jersey.
Oh,
I lived 3 places before second grade, which is no. I was born in Dallas, Texas. Texas.
You were born in Texas? I was no idea.
In Texas. Yep. I only lived there for like a year and a half to 2 years of my life, so I remembered none of it.
Right.
But I also lived in Massachusetts and New Jersey before I moved to Pennsylvania. That was all before second grade.
Wow, that is okay. So that explains why your accent has always been softer. Interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, apparently I almost developed a like a Boston accent.
Yeah, you got like a Boston going. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad was very thankful I did not fully develop that before I moved.
Yeah, I know, Rob. I was born in Georgia, but I moved out of there before I was even 1.
At least yours makes sense. You had a parent in the military. I just worked for a dad in an insurance company.
Like, I'm surprised though, Stanford. Like, did you have it when you lived in Virginia?
Have what?
Ritas, because they're in Virginia.
No. Not when I was there.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, when we drove out to Montana, like I think I saw one in like Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Well, yeah, they got Wawas in Florida now. So what do you want?
Anyways, my point is that like it's Rita's season, and they have a new flavor of water ice that is my new favorite. It is Skittles flavored. And it is fucking incredible. Because,
baby.
Does
it taste like a rainbow?
Look.
It tastes exactly like you jammed all of the Skittles in your mouth and got that weird purple brown Skittle goop.
Dear listener,
It is not.
there is only one proper way to eat Skittles, and that is to upend the bag into your face until you can barely close your mouth. And then, while your jaw is hurting and that weird brownish purple liquid is starting to pool at the sides of your mouth, you drink it all down. That is the flavor of this water ice. It is not the individual food flavors. It is all of the Skittles at once flavor, and it is.
And there's something very disturbing about it because it's not. It tastes just
It
like
tastes
that.
just
but
like Skittles.
it's not the right texture. So it's
no,
very
because your jaw.
disturbing.
It's like eating Skittles,
It's
but
just
your jaw doesn't hurt.
Right, I was gonna say, because like after like 2 mouthfuls of Skittles, it's like, I'm 30, I can't eat these anymore.
Dude, they are my very favorite candy.
Did you get like sugar burn in your tongue afterwards too?
No, see, that's the other thing. No, and I got the they call it a gelati, which is like
which is with the custard in it.
yeah.
it's
So
great.
I do like it's like 5 layers. So it's like
The
custard.
ideal Rita order, by the way.
Ew, no.
Oh,
No.
oh my God, Chris,
No.
you and I are going to be sucking each other's dicks so hard when you get here in a couple weeks. Between that and the angel cream donuts,
Oh my god.
yeah, it's like so it's vanilla custard, frozen custard, and then like Skittles water ice, vanilla custard, Skittles water ice, vanilla custard, and it's amazing. Just amazing.
I could
no
not
notes.
be any harder right now.
Oh my God. So Chris is going to be here in like 3 weeks. And so for breakfast, we're having angel cream donuts.
Yes.
and then we're going to order Rita's for dessert.
I'm so excited right now.
Dessert after dinner. Not like we're going to have angel cream donuts and then have dessert after that. Unless he wants to. Shit, I can do it.
Oh man, I don't remember the last time I had that much sugar all at once. Jesus.
We can get some hoagies.
Oh yeah, you got to have a hoagie.
You guys are the worst.
Go ahead, say it, Rob. Come on, we're waiting.
Nope.
Go ahead, Rob. You know you want to.
Although I will say, Rob, you're not as bad at
Hoagie.
you're not as bad at the Wooder stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I got away from that. Every once in a while it slips out.
It's because you live in like a rich suburb of Philly, like not like the
That is the
actual
reason,
city. Yes.
No, dude, that's like everything from northern central Jersey all the way out to like Reading.
Mhm.
They all talk like that.
My stepmom doesn't.
Yeah, she's not in that region.
Yeah, he didn't name the region. Yeah,
Bitch,
she was in.
where the fuck do you think my stepmom lived her entire life?
North Jersey.
No, absolutely not. She lived like south of Trenton.
Oh.
Yeah, she lived in East Windsor. That's where she grew up. You've been to my nanny's house. That was the house she grew up in.
East Windsor is north of Trenton.
Listen, I might not be great with maths. All I know is it is like 45 minutes from here, so it cannot be that far away. It has to be in that region.
It is.
Yeah, and she went to Rutgers.
That's where my dad went.
Yeah, it is northwest of Trenton. Not by a lot, but it is.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Know your
great at
geography.
geography. I'm really, really bad at it. I got confused by the 895 South, 95 North thing. That's where I'm going with that.
All right. Well, on that note,
25 minutes into the
I
podcast.
think
Right.
it is time we get to our retrospective on Enterprise. So as we stated before, we have finished the entirety of Enterprise. It is completely done now. So we're going to take some time this episode to kind of go through, talk about some things, what we thought about, and we'll go from there. So the first question I wanted to start with is, what was your overall impression of the show? For Stanford, was it better or worse than you remembered? And for Rob, this was a first time watch for you. What did you think overall about the series?
Which one of us do you want to go first?
Whichever one wants to go first.
All right, I'm going to go first. It was better than I expected it to be. Yeah, like I've heard so many horror stories about this show, and like, don't get me wrong, out of all of Star Trek, it's probably the least favorite thing that I've seen outside of like, I know this is going to sound terrible, but the animated series.
I don't think so. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hate fun. It's fine, Rob. Like, no one's-
Yeah, that's the problem. Oh God. Yeah, it was better than I was expecting it to be. Still not great.
Okay, Stanford.
I I remember watching it like a few years ago when I kind of went through most of Star Trek again by myself and being like, man, this is shit. So like, I think it was about what I expected based on that viewing. I think that like talking with y'all about the individual episodes certainly made me realize quite the like, I guess because this is the first time, and this is like not just for Star Trek like at all. This is the first time I've like taken notes on a television show.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't realize quite the number of like, holy fuck, this is horrifically problematic moments in a show that I did like taking notes through this season. So like that was certainly worse than I was expecting. I did like on the topic of like how we feel about the season as a whole or the show as a whole, I do have the numbers from our average scores and stuff for the show calculated.
All right. Well, let me get that from you in just a minute. I just kind of want to give you my thoughts on the series too. Much like you, I had already watched the series, and I think I landed in the same place as you. It is like I watching the show before, remembering back to it. I think I generally enjoyed it. I didn't think it was particularly like super good or anything, but as Star Trek, I thought it was fine. And kind of watching back through it and analyzing it more critically, I definitely have, I think, a more negative opinion of it than I did.
Amazing.
But what overall, where were we at?
Okay, so I want you to guess where you think you landed as an average to like a 10th of a point from 1 to 5. Rob, where do you think you landed on this show?
Like a 3.3.
Okay, and Chris?
I think I probably ended at like a 2.6.
Okay. You both under and overshot by the same amount. Rob, you were a 3.09.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Chris, you were a 2.8.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I was a 2.6.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
It wasn't that far off though. That's all right. That's about where I thought it was. Okay.
Yeah. So like, and given our scale is basically like we consider 3 to be average Star Trek schlock.
Right.
Like, Rob, you think this show's pretty much average Star Trek all the way through?
Weird.
I mean, I can't fault him too much for that because a lot of it is. I think it is the problem. A lot of it is.
That was a loaded
average.
statement.
I think a lot of it is pretty average, and that's part of the problem, right? There wasn't really standout episodes for the most part.
So, like, not only were there not standout episodes, when they almost made standout episodes, they, like, ruined it right at the end of the episode a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that and on top of that, they have standout episodes in the bad way.
Right. That's the thing. Like if most of the show is kind of average and then they just have some complete shit, you're going to remember that this show sucks. Yeah.
All right. So, next. Star Trek Enterprise was the first of the post TOS Star Trek shows to be canceled and not run for at least 7 seasons. Was that justified, do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess like it's one of those things where the show did not do well, so fuck it.
Right.
Like based on what I could tell about season 5 and what it was going to look like, there's a chance it could have been better, but I'm
don't
not
get into that.
Hold off on
sure.
that. That's my next question.
Okay, I genuinely I think canceling it was the right call. Fuck this show.
Okay. So if it wasn't canceled, go ahead.
So I'm not in the this was utter garbage, it deserved to be canceled camp. It was a like absolutely in that, like, I feel like they told a lot of the stories that they had intended to tell with the characters, and dragging it out any further wasn't going to do anybody any favors.
This actually plays into my next question, because if it wasn't canceled, what storylines did they have the opportunity to explore?
Well, oddly enough, the deep dive goes into a little bit of this, so I actually know a couple of the things that they had planned on.
All right, so let's skip this question.
All right. So with, speaking of the final season, with budget cuts and a shortened season in the final one, it seemed like that the show was doomed from the start. Do you think a more complete budget and more episodes would have made any difference?
No, absolutely not. Like, the problem was the writing. I don't think you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. More writing of shit quality was not going to make a better show.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Robbie, you
I-
pretty much agree.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, the real problem was, one, they weren't really exploring any new ideas or stories. A lot of what they had already gone through was just rehashing
Hold on.
stories and plot.
That's another question. We'll get there.
See, Chris, you gotta like
We're
let
so good at this.
You gotta let them feed into each other. Then
Bad. All right. Well, okay. When Enterprise launched, there had been 14 consecutive years of Star Trek on TV. Do you think franchise fatigue contributed to Enterprise overall lack of performance and eventual
No.
cancellation?
I genuinely don't think that was the issue, because like, this is not, there were 14 years, but that was across 4 different shows with different sets of characters and different circumstances. Like, just because it had Star Trek on the fucking title doesn't mean they couldn't have told new and different stories. And the fact that there's been newer Treks since then that people have enjoyed, some of which they have not, but like, the stories that, for example, Strange New Worlds are telling is not, something that couldn't have been told in 2002. Like, there's nothing that crazy going on now. So no, absolutely not. It's got nothing to do with franchise fatigue. It's got everything to do with the fact that, like, y'all just started, or I don't know, started. Like, y'all just didn't write good episodes for this show. And I genuinely, I think that the characters kind of doomed this show from the start, because they're just not good characters.
It was kind of funny because in some of the research I did for this week's deep dive, they were talking about how they, being Braga and Berman, they were talking about how they wanted to create a more character-centric Star Trek. And I feel like they did a really poor job of that with the
really
characters
bad
that
at
they
that,
did.
if that was the case. Jesus.
Yeah, and like,
I mean,
To
they weren't
me-
shit characters, so I like, maybe they were character focused.
like to me, the best season of the whole show was season 3. And it was because they had a wholly unique story to tell that like could develop into actual legitimate Star Trek lore. And like I said last time, it wasn't just rehashing existing ideas like week in, week out. And I
So-
feel like had they continued with that, it would have been much better.
So while we're on that topic, mainstream television was in its infancy of its move to a more serialized format when Enterprise debuted. What would a more serialized version of the show have looked like, do you think?
Season 3.
So, yeah, and I don't disagree with, like, it'll look like season 3, but there's also this level of, and I think a lot of shows kind of fall into this problem where it's like, okay, so yeah, sure, season 3 was one season. What are they doing for the other seasons? Like, is it going to get...
Right,
are
exactly.
the
Well, that's
stakes
kind of
gonna
what I'm asking. Like,
Are the stakes going to get higher? Because, like...
do they focus more on kind of that time,
Right.
Civil War or whatever it was?
I think that, like, the initial plan when this show was pitched was apparently to have the first season be entirely on Earth, getting the Enterprise, like, on its way.
Yeah.
That by definition is kind of a serialized story being told over the course of a season. Like, I think, like, if you change your framing narratives and stuff like in that way, I think that would be an okay way to do it.
Yeah. So we mentioned that the third season of Enterprise is a more serialized format. Do you think that I know, Rob, you said that was your favorite season of it. Do you think that was the most successful version of Enterprise?
Yes. Yeah, that, like, not only did they do a good job of telling a consistent story across multiple episodes, it had, I think, the most character development along the way, and it gave us the new jingle jangle of Faith of the Heart.
Oh, okay. That was the worst
fair
part
enough.
about season 3.
You know what's interesting is that because I did averages for the seasons as well, and we all rated season 3 as the best. Okay,
That makes sense.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
but
I remember
IMDb,
enjoying it the most. So
but IMDb actually rated season 4 as the best.
So what's interesting is I saw that a lot on Reddit. Like, everybody's like, oh yeah, and then by season 4, it was finally finding its legs. And I was like, dude, season 4, the show went off the rails. It
really
reverted back to a worse time and then just petered out.
I feel like they just threw a bunch of shit together for season 4 and just like, well, we've got this whole season of TV. Our show's probably going to be canceled. Might as well retcon some shit.
season 4, because like it had so many like 2 and 3 parters. It felt like, like when the show from Sci-Fi Channel would get canceled, and then over the next like 3 years they would just put out these random like made for TV movies.
Yeah,
like Stargate did that shit. And so that's what season 4 felt like, was just a bunch of made for TV Enterprise movies.
I know. Like I felt like season 3, they had a really good idea of what they wanted to do, and they mostly delivered on it. Season 4 was just like, hey, remember that cool thing that happened in season 3? Moving on. Like
space Nazis. Rah!
Yeah.
So yeah, so the temporal Cold War, we never actually find out who was kind of the main baddie of that. Why do you think they abandoned the plot thread? Because, like, they had an opportunity to go there in season 4. Heck, it starts there in season 4. And then they just decide, that's enough.
This is also something that's talked about as something that would have been wrapped up in season 5. But I think that the reason why they didn't was they were just lost. And they didn't have any, like, cool ideas.
Kind of wrote himself into a corner type situation.
Yeah.
I
feel like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say, like, I feel like they built it up so much that they couldn't write it in a satisfying way, so they just chose not to.
I feel like... I don't know. I feel like they had this whole thing going for the first 2 seasons, and then, like, they did the Xindi arc where fuck the temporal Cold War. It doesn't matter anymore.
Like, it was like, that was just a tangential part of it.
Right. And then like season 4 starts up and they're like, oh shit, people like the Xindi stuff better than this temporal Cold War shit. And so they're like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just like, going back to my previous question, I think that's like the one thing where, like, they could have come up with a better way to, like, look at that could have been interesting. I think they just decided in the season 4, well, we didn't get a full season, so we're just going to do whatever we want. So, Enterprise is more or less a prequel to the rest of Star Trek. When an IP has a prequel series or movie or whatever like this, there's usually a clear destination for kind of where it's going to end up. What do you think the storytelling goal of Enterprise was? Where were they trying to get to? Did they have a clear goal? I think
actually Enterprise is in the kind of unique position of being one of those prequels that doesn't do that as strongly. Yeah. Especially because, like, you don't have any of the same characters. It's not like, because, like, when you think about Discovery or you think about Strange New Worlds, at least, to keep things inside the Star Trek franchise, like, Spock is there, and Kirk is there, and Uhura is there. So, like, that, we know where their future is as characters, so we know where this show is going to end at its maximum, right? But, like, Enterprise was so far prequeled and also, like, different in terms of, like, who's involved. The Federation didn't even exist and all this other stuff that, like, they had the opportunity to break away from that like prescribed kind of prequel, I don't know, condition that a lot of prequels get. And I think that was as a good opportunity that they ended up kind of squandering.
Yeah.
Because, like, of course, what ends up happening is they still had to do all the standard prequel shit, which is give dumb retconny explanations to shit that we didn't need. You know, like Enterprise
special right there.
Right, Enterprise didn't have to have the Borg. They didn't have to have the Ferengi. They didn't have to have the Romulans. Like, they didn't have to have any of this shit. They could have just done their own thing, and they were for a while. And, like, that was why the Xindi stuff was interesting. Because, like, none of that had ever happened. We were just watching this for the first time. This is great.
Yeah.
I don't need an episode about them going to the Borg. Because all it does is just make it confusing as to why no one gave a fuck about this, like, entire encounter with the Borg in later editions of the show.
Well, on the topic of revisiting, in the course of watching the show, we have often noted when an episode has seemed like a retelling of a story from a previous Star Trek show. Oasis was Shadowplay, Dawn was Darmok, The Communicator was a piece of the action, etc., etc., etc. Do you think Enterprise did any of these stories better than the original?
Well, I don't like Darmok that much. So which one was Dawn?
That's the one where he's like on the trip is with like the lizard
Oh,
guy.
the enemy mine episode. That's not.
Yeah.
I don't agree that that's like Darmok at all. I guess like in the premise that he can't communicate with him well.
Right.
It's a different story. I don't know if I could compare those two.
Well, it doesn't have to be that one. Is there any others that come to mind?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any that they would have done better. And I really don't think so.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think when they did redo stories and kind of plot lines like that, it was often just a pale comparison. And I think this goes to the point that you made earlier, Stanford, about just the characters being weak overall. The characters weren't interesting enough to make those storylines better.
Right. Yeah, I can't think of it.
So, on the topic of observations, Enterprise often felt like someone was inserting their own kinks into the episodes. It often felt creepy and or weird. Did Enterprise ever do any actual good, like, sexy episode we're seeing? Like, did they ever handle that in an interesting way? Something that actually contributed to the episode?
I think that there are two relationships that I was actually interested in the show. One was Trip and T'Pol.
Sure.
The other was Phlox, and I can't for the love of me remember who the crewman was. What was her name?
Crewman Cutler. How could you forget her? She's
the
dead,
Cutlet.
Rob.
The Cutlet. Yeah, those were the only two that felt like natural.
Okay.
In terms of like sexiness, I guess, I thought the whole thing with Phlox's wife was pretty okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually a good example. I agree.
Yeah, like I think that was handled in a like it's okay for adult entertainment to have like some flirtatious scenes and some like sexual innuendos and chemistries and things. Absolutely fine. And I think that the humor there was well done without being inappropriate.
Oh, it was.
I think I do agree with you. I think that was actually a good kind of use of that and not just like, Tarantino making Selma Hayek drink liquor off his feet level.
Right. And I think that like it's weird, but I think that like Shran and Dami Mommy was okay as well for the most part.
Oh yeah.
That's not bad. That's not
like,
bad.
Yeah, I think it was a little like, all right, we get it. The women are sexually aggressive. Like, that's fine. Let's move on. But it wasn't toxic or like, or bad in some way, shape, or form.
I think it makes sense. All right. So behind the scenes, what do you think was the biggest contributor to the struggles that Enterprise had? Showrunners, writers, network influence, anything in particular?
This is where
it's funny.
Somebody tell.
Like in one of the articles I was reading for this week, Bakula like straight up said that the problem was the network and them being beholden to the advertisers on it because they only aired originally on UPN.
I don't buy
that is not the problem here.
I do not buy that at all. And like I don't
know.
The UPN thing was kind of interesting, although actually Voyager was having the UPN issue more than Enterprise ended up. Because Voyager was the flagship show for UPN. But I think that like the bigger issue with Enterprise, and this is where it's like I don't know how TV shows are made extraordinarily well. Sorry, I don't have a good understanding of how TV shows are made. So like I don't know where. The problem with this show is that it did not tell good stories. I always blame the writers because in my feeble brain, that is who is pushing most of the stuff on TV. But like, it is certainly possible, and in fact, maybe even likely, that the showrunners or producers or something hamstrung the writers to the point where they were not able to actually do their job.
Yeah.
I think that is it's not unique, but I think that is a particular problem for the Star Trek franchise as a whole, was the showrunners had a lot to say about what actually made it into each episode.
Yeah. I mean, even going back to Gene Roddenberry and his like very rigid rules
Right.
of
That's what I mean.
Yeah, the Roddenberry rules and all that. So I think that's a good point.
Well, and so like I don't disagree with that concept, but then I also find the problem where it's like, well, but I can point to good stories that were told with strict adherence to the Roddenberry rules. So what happened here? You know? And there were
That's
a
fair.
couple of episodes in this show that were like, this is a good story. Despite the weak characters, this was a good story. You told a good story here. So what happened in the rest of this? You know?
Yeah.
There were plenty of episodes of this show where it's like, wow, had they not dropped the ball in the last act, or had they set it up a little bit better, like this would have been pretty good. And yet they didn't. And like I don't feel like that's Roddenberry's fault. Not that I think that Roddenberry's rules are good. I think they're stupid as shit. But like I don't think that you can blame those mostly for Enterprise's issue.
Like the episode that always will stick out to me is like the perfect example of that is the one where Hoshi's like phasing in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, so Enterprise seemed to take a step back from Star Trek's overall progressiveness compared to the two predecessor shows, more recent predecessor shows to it, DS9 and Voyager. They had DS9 had an African American as kind of the main character, captain figure. Voyager had Janeway as a woman captain, among other various progressive storylines, just to name a couple things. In this episode, the captain was a white male, kind of all-American type, Captain Dewar. His best friend is a southern white male. The two main female characters are Hoshi and Paul, and kind of they have their own, the way they wrote those characters have their own kind of issues and step backs from the general progressiveness. Hoshi's just mainly a side character who occasionally falls through a vent and gets her top ripped off. And T'Pol struts around in a catsuit the whole time. Why do you think this is that they took this kind of step back? Is it the politics of the era, kind of that Bush conservative kind of politics, where we have 9/11 and all kind of that general xenophobia that America experienced? Is it shifting interests in what audiences are looking for in a TV show at the time? I read a bunch, and kind of a lot of places refer to it as kind of the conservative Star Trek. What do you think the main reason for that is?
So that's a good question. The problem is that I don't know if you could blame it on Bush era conservatism, because this show was filming before Bush was elected,
Sure.
I would argue that Bush's success might have been a symptom of societal change, though.
Sure.
I get how that could be a leap to that. But I also think that part of the problem was that Berman and Braga learned the wrong lessons from Voyager.
I agree with that.
And they faulted, Janeway and her strong, female lead as a part of the reason why Voyager struggled.
That's a good question, because the Voyager did have a full 7 seasons, and I don't know, struggles though, I'm not sure they struggled, in terms of success for Brandon and Braga.
Sure.
But I do wonder if, because they brought Jerry Ryan in, and Jerry Ryan, while her character got better because the writers on Voyager weren't completely incompetent, Jerry Ryan was clearly brought on for the sex appeal aspect of her character. Right. And the show got more successful after she came on. So I'm wondering
successfully, I will add, yeah.
That's the wrong lesson to learn, right? The show got better after Jerry Ryan was brought on. Oh, it's because there's a sexy lady in a catsuit. I would argue the show got better despite that, but I can see
it got better because it had more interesting storylines.
Yes, I can see how Brandon and Braga would learn that very incorrect lesson from that maneuver, though.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we kind of touched on this, but Enterprise took many opportunities in the 4th season to address / retcon some continuity issues. What do you think of that choice overall? Is it a good one, bad one?
I find it. I mean, this is no fucking newsflash. I find it stupid. I find it unnecessary, and it's the kind of crutch that I think weak writing leans on. We know it's Star Trek. It's fine. They keep saying the word Starfleet over and over again. We don't need this shit. Like, tell the story you're trying to tell, or don't. Don't try to retell a story we've already been told. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you 100% on that, by the way.
Man, I it's hard because, like, some of the stuff, it's the retconning that's a problem. The, like, tie-ins and throwbacks to lore.
Sure, the nods, the references, absolutely.
Yeah, like them getting to meet the creator of the transporter.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes
That stuff
sense.
I have no problem with. It's like, but it's when they throw storylines in where they're clearly just sightseeing that makes me fucking annoyed.
Yeah.
And the Borg is always the example I'll use because that episode was so fucking pointless.
Yeah.
And the only reason they did it was because, well, we got to throw the Borg in here. Like, you know what? It's good this show got canceled because I'm sure Q was showing the fuck up in season 5. There's no way he wasn't. I don't know how they managed to go that long without him.
Oh, like, man, can you imagine how mad Stanford would have been?
Oh, so bad. All right. So, finally, for our long-form questions here. Do you think Enterprise did a good job in showing the story of the creation of the Federation?
No.
I
agree. It was so unsatisfying.
I think it did a good job in showing some parts of it. I think they did I will to give Enterprise the little credit it is due. I think that they did a good job showing the national politics of the Tellarites, the Andorians, and the Vulcans.
In like 2 episodes, and that's my problem.
I know. That's the issue. It's like I wish they had done more of it.
Like that was such
a
cool and interesting storyline that had
100%.
so much more to explore, and they just didn't, and I'm mad about it.
I don't, and I'm going to be honest, like, I'm not surprised they didn't, because I don't think that's a good story to tell in the vessel of, no pun intended, in the vessel of a kind of ship show.
Okay, first of all, obvious pun intended, okay.
You need to show it in, like, an actual political show, like a drama or something. Or it doesn't even have to be a drama, but like in a show that's not just a spaceship, you know?
I get what you're saying. However, the parts that they did do on the spaceship were so cool and interesting that I don't 100% agree.
I will never forgive them for not actually showing us Archer's goddamn speech. I'm still mad about it.
Troy had to memorize it in school, Rob.
Oh, gosh. I was talking to Eric about that episode, and he was a little disappointed we didn't, like, save that one for the TNG era. Because, like, technically speaking, it took place in the TNG era.
I was talking to my dad about the episode today, and I was like, yeah, it takes place in the commercial break of a TNG episode. And he's like, I'm going to need you to tell me what that means.
And, like, he's not wrong. Like, technically speaking, that episode takes place in that. Also, there is no way I would want to save one episode of Enterprise. just to have that fucking diarrhea bomb later.
We'll watch it again. That's what we'll do. In the middle of Pegasus, we'll stop Pegasus at the middle of that commercial break.
No.
Just copy and paste our entire podcast from that episode. Oh, shit. All right. So here's the rapid fire portion of our show today.
Well, do you want to do like back and forth, like Rob does one, then I do one, or?
Yes. Yep. Great. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. 1, best season.
3.
All right. 2, worst season.
Ooh. Well, according to my numbers, it was 2.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. That's a good choice.
That's true for all of us, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite episode?
Carbon Creek.
Yeah, I knew it. Best character.
Do you know my favorite episode out of curiosity?
It's the Vulcan zombie one.
Fuck yeah, man. Impulse. Great episode. God, that's so good. Awesome.
All right, Stanford, best character.
Ooh, best character. Shit. Oh, man, I don't want to get too, man, there's too many easy traps here.
It's rapid fire, just pick one.
I know. God damn it.
There's only one right answer, though.
No, there's not. Fuck Phlox. Porthos.
No,
hold on. Next question. Rob, goodest boy.
Fourth on-
6, worst episode.
Worst episode. Oh, Cogenitor. Easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rob, worst character.
Read.
100%. No question.
Stanford, what was Enterprise best at the show overall?
Sexism.
Uniforms. Oh, damn it.
Did you say uniforms? I actually like that answer. Rob, worst at?
Oh, writing and ending to an episode.
that is a great choice. I love that. Stanford, finally, if you could erase one episode, which?
Ooh, Borg episode.
Yeah, okay.
What? What? More than Cogenitor?
Yeah, Cogenitor needs to exist so that everyone remembers how fucking stupid this show is, and because I think that Cogenitor is like what 40% of the traffic on that Star Trek subreddit. So
It really is right now. Yeah. All right.
At
Well,
least once a week.
that wraps up our initial discussion. Rob will have some deep dive when we get back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. For this week's deep dive, I have titled this segment "The End of Enterprise."
Oh, very original. Nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this from two different angles. The first is going to be the cancellation of
Took
Enterprise.
your mom from 2 different angles.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
I like how Chris. Can you imagine? I like how Chris and I immediately went to the same place.
Yeah, you did. So yeah, we're going to start with the cancellation, and then we're going to look at what has been prophesied for season 5. We'll say. So yeah, the whole series was kind of on thin ice as early as season 2. Paramount executives weren't exactly happy with the results of the first 2 seasons. The fans.
We wrote this dumb show and no one liked it. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, the fans kind of sensed this and started a letter writing campaign. And I'll stand by for saving struggling Trek series. And they convinced the higher ups at Paramount to renew it with a couple of caveats. One, they wanted a plot with the snappier episodes that had more action in them. And 2, they wanted to change the name to Star Trek Enterprise so that people would know that this was actually a Star Trek show.
So, okay, I have a question about that because I keep seeing that go by. Was anyone confused?
Dude, I remember seeing the title of the show back in high school and thinking, is that Star Trek?
Was anyone other than Rob confused? Because I wasn't.
I didn't watch it when it first ran, so I don't know if I even have an opinion on that part of it. Like, I remember it being out there and it being, I guess, a part of Star Trek, so I guess that part I wasn't confused about, but I never watched it when it was airing.
I don't know. It's one of those things where, because I do keep seeing that, like, they finally put the Star Trek on the front to help, like, people identify and shit, but, like, I don't know. I have a harder time being that. Like, I understand the American public struggles with media literacy and whatnot. I get it.
Yeah, me. I'm the American public.
I get that Rob struggles with media literacy. I get it. But, like, come on. No one was confused. Like Rob, if you'd seen the first episode, you'd have been like, oh, it's Star Trek. Like, this isn't rocket science. No pun intended.
But, like, the problem was I hadn't seen the first episode. I had to look the show up to, like, figure out, like,
shows
this is
back
definitely Star Trek.
Did you just bring up that old TV guide booklet? Is that what you looked into?
No, I searched for a keyword in AOL.
Oh, man.
Oh, God damn it. Keywords. Yeah, it's just my, what was the name of that old fucking browser?
Netscape.
Navigator?
That's right.
Netscape Navigator.
As soon as my Netscape booted up, I was able to look up Enterprise.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so despite all of this, things looked even worse for the show by the end of season 3. So fans were pretty surprised when it got renewed for season 4. Again, this came with caveats. One, Paramount had decreased the fees per episode for season 4. And it was also moved to a slot on Friday evenings,
The
which
death slot. Yep.
yeah. I didn't know that was a death slot until I started looking into this, and it kind of makes me sad because like I remember being excited on Friday nights when I didn't have anything else to do because
That's
it meant
what,
I got to watch Sci-Fi Friday.
Yeah. Death slotting is what happened to Stargate Universe too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a. I watched the first season of that show and I remember liking it, and then the show died,
great.
so I stopped watching.
It stopped. It was season 1 was good. And then they had season 2, and then they just stopped. They just like they're like, no, we're done.
It was
a
like
good
we
show.
want to make Stargate Voyager, and then it got a season.
Pretty much.
So yeah, Enterprise's cancellation was officially announced on February 3rd of 2005. While the cast was still filming In a Mirror Darkly, the fans did try a number of things to try and save the show. Notably, they ran a donation campaign. They actually raised $32 million in an attempt to save the show.
I'm sorry.
But even that
I must have
wasn't
misheard
enough.
you. There were enough fans of Star Trek Enterprise in 2005 to raise $32 million.
$32 million.
Was one of those fans Bill Gates and he contributed $31.5 million? Like, how the fuck did that happen?
My understanding was there were some actual producers involved in raising the money.
See, I figured it out. I'm a sleuth.
Yeah. Interestingly, I think it was Braga. I forget if it was Braga or Berman. I forgot to write it down here. One of them recommended that fans just watch the seasons that existed on Netflix to like see if the streaming giant would resurrect the series, kind of like oddly foreshadowing the fate of Prodigy here.
That was a more recent thing. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So that kind of runs through the broad strokes of the cancellation here. I thought it would be interesting to look at what Manny Coto had planned for season 5, because season 4 was when Coto took over for Brandon and Braga. For Berman and Braga as the showrunner. They were already developing episodes for season 5. So are you ready to hear some of their ideas?
Oh, I'm just my body is ready.
Okay. Unsurprisingly, probably the least surprising of all of these, they were planning on season 5 to build up to the Romulan War, which was like one of the main reasons for the formation of the Federation in the first place.
Right.
The second was that they wanted to do more callbacks for longtime fans of Star Trek.
Oh, perfect. See, I was just thinking, you know what this show needs? More dumb shit.
Yeah. Well, they picked a real winner. Guardian. Let me tell you, Stanford.
Are they going to do Guardian? Hold on. Do you have a list of ones they were thinking of?
There was one example that was given on like 3 different sources that I found.
Oh my god! Let me think of it. Can we?
You're not going to get it because it's
okay.
from TOS.
And it's not Guardian. It's not the Guardian because I assumed that was going to be in there.
No.
Crystalline Entity.
It is not the Guardian. No. So there's an episode of the original series that talks about the Cloud Minders.
That sounds hard to say.
This is kind of like the TOS version of Dear Doctor, where like there are 2 species that co-evolved on the same planet, where one lives in this like Elysium-like cloud city up in the atmosphere, a la like Cloud City from Star Wars.
Right, the white people. Got it.
Yeah. And then there's the other people that do menial labor down on the surface called the Troglodytes.
Oh boy.
The Troglodytes or the Troglodytes?
Troglodytes.
Oh, okay.
Where the mining
really
gases
for
are
that name, let me tell you.
Yeah. So they live on the
60s.
surface where the mining gases have polluted the air and made them stupid and angry.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's about a group that like tries to lead a rebellion, and Kirk actually, unlike Archer, tries to do the right thing, and shenanigans ensue. We'll get there. It's only 2 shows in the future here.
It's only it's like 20 some odd, 30 some odd episodes of Star Trek before we're in TOS.
Yeah. As we've mentioned on the show in the past, Jeffrey Combs was supposed to become a show regular at this point, with Tran joining the Enterprise crew as like a consultant. or advisor.
A consultant. I don't know why that makes
Dorian consultant.
He's under contract. He doesn't have to, like.
I mean, he doesn't have a ship anymore, so he's a free agent.
He doesn't have to be in uniform. Yeah,
I can hear him ranting about pink skins already.
Yep, with his daughter on board. That would have been funny. Kodo, interestingly, Stanford was developing an episode based on the Kzinti.
Yeah, apparently they were supposed to be like a bigger thing in season 5. It was like there was going to be several Kzinti like plots. Yep, I heard.
Yeah,
about that.
Interesting.
Yeah. One of the loose threads that we were talking about earlier, Braga and Berman were still trying to figure out who Future Guy was supposed to be. Berman wanted to make him a Romulan and kind of tie him into the beginnings of the Romulan War and kind of wrap up the temporal Cold War that way.
That's stupid.
Braga wanted it to be Archer.
Archer, yeah. It was obviously Archer.
Yeah.
What? How does that make sense?
Well, you remember when he stepped through to like punch what's-his-face in that one episode?
Yeah.
Because he thought he was talking to Future Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was supposed to be Future Archer from a messed up timeline trying to correct the actions of his younger self.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, that's still dumb, but all right.
Yeah. There was supposed to be an episode about the construction of the first Starfleet starbase. Sounds thrilling.
I mean, I was like, it would have been fine, I'm sure. You know, there's probably, well, they gotta, because I really want to watch them install the infectomatic tubes. Because I assume that's standard issue on Starfleet starbases.
That's only the research bases, okay?
Oh, that's right. So I guess would they build Starbase 1, like literally Starbase 1?
So no, this wasn't going to be built in the Sol system. It was supposed to be built elsewhere.
Well,
that's all they had nailed down.
So did they build Starbase 2? They're like, we'll build 1 later. But like...
that would have been funny. One of the major arcs that they were talking about was the continuation of the Mirror Universe story. Kodo apparently wanted to spend a total of 4 to 5 episodes of season 5.
No, hold on. Let him spit. Like, let's hear him out.
That's it. That's all we got. That's all we know.
What is? I did hear. I actually heard that. Yeah, they were gonna like follow Hoshi, and because don't forget, she had already killed most of the other characters anyway. So
who fucking cares?
Yeah. Stanford, you would have loved this one. Borg Queen origin story.
Fuck.
Oh God, no.
What the fuck?
Why? How?
Of all the things, why that?
I don't know.
Get some goddamn new ideas.
God
Fuck.
damn.
They had one where T'Pol's father would turn out to be a Romulan agent that faked his own death.
No notes. Perfect story. I'm
that's
down
a good
for that
one.
one.
Yeah,
That's pretty good, actually. I like that one.
Yeah, right? They said that would likely have been why she was interested in exploring her emotions and more readily, like, friendlied up to the humans aboard Enterprise.
Yeah, since they already ruined her arc with her mom's dying breath, like that might as well happen. Sure.
So question this brings up for me genetically, how different are Vulcans and Romulans? Like, are they just societally different?
So the answer to that in canon actually is that they are different enough for you to shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah. Romulans usually have more pronounced eyebrows.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like the answer is no, they're not different, but obviously they are different because the emotional suppression is like a neurological, biological thing in Vulcans. But also, like, sometimes Romulans are agents on Vulcan and no bioscans seem to be able to tell the fucking difference. So, like, I don't know. They're fuck off. That's the answer. Fuck right the fuck off.
So the answer is it depends on the plot line for the episode.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Good to know. All right.
Just like transporter locks. It's exactly as much as the plot needs right now.
Yeah.
So another original series tie-in. Are either of you familiar with Requiem for Methuselah?
Based on my understanding of various words, it's a person that lives a long fucking time.
Hey, yeah. So there was a character, I'm pretty sure his name was Flint in the original series, where he was effectively immortal. Like, he was born somewhere in the Middle East. I think it might have been the Assyrian Empire, and fought about, realized he was immortal, couldn't die. the original series, they find this guy. So he was going to show up again, where he turned out to be like a scientist who knew Archer's dad, because that's gone so well for Archer in his past.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not gonna lie. Of all the ways to do a callback, that one's not that bad.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Because that's like when Guinan shows up, like in you didn't watch it, but like Guinan showed up in earlier stuff and like that stuff's fine. If you're going to establish this character's been immortal,
canon-wise,
like,
it makes sense.
Yeah, it works. And it's like, well, why didn't he know? It's like, well, he's fucking old. Like, what does he know? Fuck him. Like, he's 1,000 years old. Who gives a shit? Like, let him. He's got his own motivations. Like, I don't know. That would have been all right.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what was his name? Colonel Green? I can't remember the dude who was like actually a TOS callback in Terra Prime.
Yeah,
that they all, like,
Colonel Green, the genocidal. The guy who decided that we needed to purge humanity of radiation by killing people, yeah.
Effective. And then the last one that I was reading about that, I don't know, I personally would kind of like, I feel like Stanford might hate it. They wanted to make an episode where they had a reason to visit Denobula for some reason.
Why would I have hated that? Out of curiosity, why do you think that?
So, okay, on one hand, I think that would be cool. On the other hand, there's definitely going to be weird sex stuff.
They would have ruined it.
Yeah.
They would have ruined it by not letting it just be a thing. They would have made it too much.
It also would have been very crowded. So yeah, that's the last one that I saw that was probably worth noting.
But, like, yeah, no, you could have done a fun Denobula. Like, man, you could have had just basically what is, like, effectively a Star Trek Christmas special where, like, the Enterprise cruise goes to Phlox's house for, like, some sort of Denobulan holiday, and you just hijinks. Like, would have been a fine episode.
I think it would have been a great episode.
Like, that would have been, you just do Christmas vacation, but it's fucking Phlox's but he's actually married all of these people. Like, great, fine, whatever. Perfectly fine episode.
I can see the bits now. There's like a 30-foot long table of all their entire family.
Absolutely.
At some point, could someone say that the shitter's full in that episode?
Yes, yeah, 100%.
This is my 12th cousin.
You could do like a Home Alone situation where Phlox is like one kid gets left somewhere and Archer has to go get him. Like, yeah, it's fine.
Oh yeah.
Fine episode.
They're all planning on a vacation, so they pack the entire family into a single home.
Or like all of the adults in the room, there's like 12 or 14 adults, right? They're all like doing shit. And then like they all come up with plans and it turns out that T'Pol is left alone with the kids for 3 hours. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
We could have written this episode.
Yeah, we're gonna take another little break here and we'll be back for some Potpourri with Stanford.
Yay! Welcome back. So, longtime listeners of our podcast, so, John, will remember that sometime in season 1, I ended up getting these Star Trek Trivial Pursuit cards. And we ran through some of the Enterprise ones, but like we could only run through so many because that's how many episodes have been going through. But now I can do any of the cards because we've seen the whole show, and it's not unfair to anyone because everyone has seen the whole show. All right. Now there are 50 questions. I am not going to ask 50 questions. Okay. So I'm going to kind of go through these a little randomly, but I will go back and forth. Mariah, can you keep score?
Fine.
All right. Some of these are very, very easy, so I will be skipping those mostly. But we will start with Rob.
Okay.
Rob, where did Klang's ship crash land?
Broken bow.
Ooh, so that is correct.
Bow.
Yes, that is correct. It is Broken Bow, but I understood what you meant. Yes, Broken Bow. What state?
Oh, Idaho.
Oh, close enough. Not geographically.
Oh.
No, he gets the point for Broken Bow. It's
Iowa.
Yeah.
No, God, you were wrong too. It's Oklahoma.
Nebraska?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oh, it is Oklahoma.
That's
okay.
right. That's right. Yeah.
I said Idaho. I was like close enough, meaning like it's a vacant state that has nobody in it. They are not geographically near one another.
Sorry for our Idaho listeners.
Too, because they got compared to Oklahoma.
I've been to Idaho.
No, because you called it a nothing state.
Have you been to Idaho, Chris?
No.
Exactly.
I have, but it's because I lived next to it for 2 years.
Alrighty. Chris.
Yep.
Which Vulcan monastery hid a surveillance facility?
Oh, shit. Oh. God, I can't remember the name of it.
Yes, you can. Come on.
Oh, can I steal?
If he doesn't get it.
No, I can't. I can't remember the name of it.
Rob?
Pajem. Shout out to Pajem.
Yep, nope. Did not have it at all. Like, I know that's right now as you said it, but yeah, was never going to get that.
Ready? Rob, at what temperature would a Tholian carapace crack?
4,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm going to need that in Kelvin.
4,750
No. Like, seriously,
Kelvin.
you guessed 4,000. Go find a converter, because if you're close enough, I'll give it to you.
Oh, Jesus. Dude, I don't know.
We can't use math. It's fine.
Fucking, no one's got Google up? Come on.
Okay, fine. 4,000 F to Kelvin. That's 2,477.59 Kelvin.
No. Chris.
Fuck. I don't know. 5,000 degrees Kelvin?
Oh, no. It's 380.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right, Chris. During which
really?
Next Generation episode did the series finale of Enterprise take place?
Pegasus!
That is correct. Yeah.
Ooh. Yes.
I'm trying to make it like not too easy or hard because some of these are pretty fucking obscure.
Yeah, you just asked me about the boiling point of Tholians.
No, I asked when their carapace cracked. Come on.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah, it's when it turns red and cracks, like when you cook a crab.
What stigmatizing disease did T'Pol contract?
Oh, no. Vulcan space AIDS.
Oh, I know this one.
I'm gonna need a specific Vulcan name.
Meniere's disease.
Oh shit, you're close.
I know it's close because we used to joke about it.
Chris?
I can't remember.
Chris, do you know?
Is it Pinar syndrome?
It is
That's
Pinar
it.
syndrome. That's right.
Always.
All right, Chris. How many species of Xindi existed?
Oh, fuck me. Existed?
That's what it says. That's what the question. How many distinct species of Xindi existed?
Counting. 5?
That is incorrect. Rob?
6.
Correct.
Is it? Who am I forgetting then?
It was the primates.
Hold on. Chris, who do you got?
Well, the primates, the arboreals, the reptilians, the aquatics, avians?
Yup, okay.
Oh, and the insectoids. That's
The
right.
insectoids, yeah. I was curious if you remembered avians, because that's like the trick.
Yeah.
I dropped that card, so we're not going to do any more questions off that one. All right, that's a dumb question, so I'm going to give it to Rob. Rob, the Xindi superweapon that attacked Earth fired what type of ray at the planet?
What the fuck?
Death ray.
No, that's what I would have guessed too, but that is incorrect.
The fuck you Florida ray.
Descriptively accurate, but not technically.
Chris?
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to think if they had a fucking name for it, but
It is not a specific name.
it's not a specific name.
It's not like, a class Quellax beam or whatever. Like it's
Oh.
not. Yeah. It's more generic than that.
I don't know. Fucking laser beam. I don't fucking know.
It's a particle beam.
Oh, I feel like laser beam's close.
Chris, how did the Xindi refer to the sphere builders?
Oh,
Man, there's some obscure shit in here.
Something like not predecessors. Wait, no, the Xindi referred to them as.
Correct.
Oh, I don't remember.
Rob, do you remember?
This is gonna be really stupid. I feel like it was something like the Guardians or the Builders.
That is correct. Holy shit, that's correct. It's the
Oh,
Guardians.
that is right. As soon as you said it, I'm like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah. The Guardians. Nicely done. Yeah.
Nice.
Which makes no goddamn sense. What the fuck are the Guardians of?
The Zindi.
Rob,
Well,
which
the whole-
Galaxy.
the Guardians?
The whole thing was they were protecting the Zindi from the humans. The Who-Bands.
The Who-Mans. Rob, which ship from the normal universe fell back in time in the mirror universe?
Oh, God. The Reliant?
Oh, no. Chris, do you know?
The Defiant.
That's correct. It's the
Damn it.
Defiant. The Reliant.
Oh,
So goddamn
so
close.
Cons Miranda. Last question off this card. Chris, what is the name of the primary designer of the Zindi superweapon?
Fuck. Oh, goddamn it.
Oh, I know this one.
What the fuck was his name? Doctor gets stabbed by a reptilian. I don't know.
I think that's what his name translates to, but no. Rob?
Dagra.
Dagra. That's right.
I don't remember his kids' names.
That's the next question. Rob, what ancient Vulcan artifact contains Sirach's writings?
The oh, fuck.
It's not the Shafak.
The Kirshara? Is that
Holy
it?
shit, that's correct.
That is
Yeah,
it.
the
Yeah,
Kirshara.
that's it, yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
I'm like, oh, he's got it. And then
Yeah,
you
I
know,
know.
I'm like, oh, is he gonna miss it?
Like, wasn't it like the title of the episode?
It was the title of one of the episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, what is the name of the Andorian military?
The Imperial Guard.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about there. There's no fucking way. Yeah, no, I'm not going to get that one.
Well, if you're not gonna ask it now, I want to know what it was.
What is the name of the Romulan spy in deep cover in the Vulcan military?
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Is this the one you're not actually asking?
If Rob gets it, I'll give him 4 points. Fuck it.
Oh, God. Romulus spy deep in the military. I mean, I don't think he was really the military. He was like the head of their, like the council, their leaders.
Nope. That's a different guy.
That's
Different
a different
guy?
guy.
Oh, then I don't know.
There's
Yeah, this is the one that like is like the one who like ambushes T'Pol and Archer in that valley, and they have that fucking weird fight with the electric rocks and bullshit.
Taylock is his name.
Yeah.
All right. Whose turn is it?
Mine.
Whose son commanded the alternate timeline Enterprise NX-01? Now, this is not the mirror universe one. It is the one where the Enterprise went back in time and their descendants. So whose son was in charge?
Trip and T'Pol.
That's correct. Do you remember his name?
To Trip.
It was Lorian, but yeah, close enough. Oh shit! All right. Chris, what was the Vulcan ambassador to Earth that Archer often encountered?
Sabal.
Good. How's our score looking, babe?
Pretty sure
We're
Rob's beating me.
tied 5-5.
Oh,
Fuck
shit, okay.
off.
What?
I just want to read this one question. This is not one of them, but like it's stupid. Which of the following genetically engineered abilities do the Suliban not possess? Cling to walls, camouflage their skin, laser eyes, or tolerate a vacuum?
I mean, it's definitely clinging to walls.
That's right. Yeah, they
never
were
did
just
that.
not good at it. Yep. Fucking laser eyes in this goddamn middle of this list.
Superman
All right.
bullshit.
All right, so for the tiebreaker, we're going to do first to the buzzer. I'm going to just start asking hard questions. So I want someone,
God.
whoever knows it, knows it. What was the name of Shran's battle cruiser?
Jesus Christ.
Dami Mommy.
The antipasta.
All right, cool. So that's what we're playing with.
Well, what was it?
I'm not telling you. No, it was the Kumari.
Okay.
What
That was my next
Mandarin
guess.
What Mandarin cafe did Hoshi and Phlox both enjoy?
No. I can't guess at this and not sound racist.
Hey, Chris, don't worry about that.
Oh no.
Oh,
Chins?
no.
Oh, nope.
Number one, China.
No. Madame Chang's.
Oh, I was so close.
You were so close. As soon as the sound, I was like, "Oh shit, he's got it!" Because I would have given you Chang's, but.
Oh man.
What aquatic life form did Phlox use to sometimes clean or cauterize wounds?
Leech. Some sort of leech.
Nope.
You got to be more specific.
Cauterize wounds.
It's not a leech. The even more specific, it is not a leech. It's a different kind of animal.
A fish?
The answer is not just the word fish, Rob. I don't know.
Space fish.
I don't know.
Denobulan fish.
It's an osmotic eel.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
What type of combat cruisers did Vulcans use in the 22nd century?
Calamari.
Strong ones.
It is the Dakir, obviously.
Jesus Christ.
Alrighty. Where was the Warp 5 complex located?
San Francisco.
Nope.
Warp 5 complex.
Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Nope.
You can't keep guessing.
I mean, I didn't make that rule. If he's just going to keep being wrong.
Bozeman, Montana.
That's correct.
Oh.
Yes.
I was going to say Montana too. God damn
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't remember what the actual city was though, so.
Yeah. Cochrane at the beginning of the show, he was commemorating the founding of the Warp 5 complex because it was in the site of where the Phoenix launched. All right, nicely done, Rob.
Well, let's not go too far with that. Okay?
God damn! It sounds like the way that sports works, like the Super Bowl and stuff. Like Rob, you win trivia for the whole show now. Like that's you take home the trophy. You're the current world champion of this podcast in terms of trivia.
Just for Enterprise though, we need to make these like franchise specific.
What a shitty title. Trivia champion of Enterprise.
World champion trivia of fucking Star Trek Enterprise trivia.
Oh man.
Yeah, these questions, there are some real fucking obscure ass questions.
Who cares about Enterprise that much?
Yeah.
People making trivia cards about Enterprise.
What mining colony was believed to have been destroyed by the Enterprise?
Wow.
Yeah, y'all don't remember Paragon 2?
Is that the one where they like shot their thrusters and exploded like a planet?
Yeah, that's the one where they blew up an entire planet and felt kind of bad about it. Not bad enough, but like kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like it's bad enough when your planet has like a numeric designation.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Because I wouldn't have accepted Paragon 3. Like that's completely wrong. Oh man. All right. Well, thank you again for everyone who has stuck through this goddamn show with us. We will be back in a couple of weeks, starting our new next show, which is the first couple seasons of, Star Trek Discovery. We are going to take, I think, 2 weeks off, if I remember my calendar correctly, because we are going to align this with a happenstance that Chris will be in town. So that will be recorded with all three of us live in person, which is crazy.
Cool.
So, Chris, I know what you're watching on the plane.
Oh, no.
So as we say at the top and the bottom, go ahead and leave us a review if you like this. We are about to hit 100 official. Actually, that will be our 100 official episode, not including the bonus episodes of this show. Will be that one where we're in person. So we're about to fucking make it. That's when we made it, I think. So.
That's definitely the only barometer that is needed.
That's correct. Because as soon as we hit that 100 episodes, it's just the doors are going to open and champagne is going to fall from the sky. It's going to be incredible. Oh man. Yeah, I hope you all have your resignation letters drafted for your regular jobs because we're about to take the fuck off.
All right, I'm
I would be so unreasonably happy if that were true.
All right, we love you all very much, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for listening to Captain's Log Supplemental. You can follow us on Twitter at PodCLS or send us hate mail at podcls3@gmail.com.